Dias Gunners Collective. Back at it, you already know. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Like a what? She's a what? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. You know, homie. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. She's a torta with the snack habit. Bye-up, bye-up, bye-up. Orale, I started Egyptian lover. Orale, Capone lover. Right? Now trip out. In a menudo style in direct fashion, let's address some things. Let's address a lot of questions and a lot of hearsay and a lot of rumors, man, and a lot of speculation, you know, because a lot of people are falling off. And the reason they're falling off is they feel I haven't been truthful in situations with them. But I'm a man of my word, man. I'm a man and I have to stand on my word, right? So I have to address the situation and tell you about the Dreamer incident. Now, a lot of you guys that have been fucking with my channel for a long time, you guys already know the drill. You guys know the story. But I'm going to get a little bit more in depth. See, I'm going to take it a little bit back. And I'm not intending to disrespect anyone because I got a lot of respect for all individuals involved in this story. But this is just the truth. These are just facts. And this is just what it is, man. Hey, you can listen to it or fucking cover with your earmuffs. It's up to you. Guard! I'm going to speak on it, right? I felt that if for no other reason I should address this, not to pacify people or to give people what they need or want, but for myself. You know, for myself to finally put it out there, address it, put the nail in the coffin, bury that fucker. So it is what it is, you know. I've never shied away from confrontation. I've never shied away from conflict or any type of bullshit, man. If someone has something to say, I'm going to hear them out. And then I'm going to speak my piece, speak my mind. So here's my story from my vantage point, my point of view, because I'm sure you guys have heard it, people that are tuning in from a lot of different various sources. This is the real, gente. Let's get with it. So when I was in the youth authority, I was very young. I was a kid, you know. I thought I was bad, but don't we all think we're bad when we're that age, when we're 12, 13, 14 years old? We all think we're that one. We're all striving to be something that we might accomplish or we might not. We set our goals and our priorities are all fucked up. You know, instead of thinking about my familia and what they were going through with me being incarcerated and how my jefita was going through the motions and what she was doing out there, I was too busy trying to prove to some guys I'd never met before just to how bad of a badass I was, how gangster I can get, how gang related I could be. And I was fighting for a cause that wasn't fighting for me, but at the same time, you know, that's what I was doing. I can't blame anyone else for my misgivings or for my unfortunate situation. You know, I was incarcerated, I was locked up, I was going to do my time by myself. Now, I had homeboys around me, and there was a lot of canalismo, a lot of good homeboys from Sacra and Fresno and San Fran and Salas and Sanjo, right? Real ones, and Corco. But I'll tell you, at the end of the day, man, you had to understand, and I understood it very well, that I was on my own, that there was going to be a lot of betrayal, a lot of deceit, a lot of mistrust, a lot of people turning their backs on me. Now, this was 92, slide into 93, right? And everybody was basically that had been there in Ellis and Fred C. Nellis down south in LA from up north. You were either set in your ways and doing what you did, or you were backsliding constantly, stopping gangbanging, Bible thumping. Basically, you weren't being a man. Now, we were all boys, but we were boys to men. Orale, Motown Philly. We were getting our Motown Philly on. We were all acting, you know, accordingly, carrying ourselves with professionalism. We were trying to act like we were in prison. Hey, and quietly as it's kept, we were in a youth prison where it was very detrimental to your safety if you said the wrong things, if you disrespected someone, if you were from up north. Let's just keep it real, honest and correct. Now, for a while, you know, the Nortenos that were there, I'm going to be real, man, weren't very seasoned, didn't know what was up. Again, we were young, but we had a ragtag group, meaning a lot of these guys had already fell off, jumped back on, fell off, jumped back on. And there was barely a fucking handful of us to consider as a stronghold, to say that we were really about the business, to say that we were really doing something. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say we were fucking putting in all kinds of work and getting on the Southsiders' heads, but we were holding our own to the best of our capabilities. That's a fact. I've told that story before, and I'm going to stand on that. You know, no one can change that direction in my way of thinking. That's just the way it was. This is why I have so much respect for Southsiders, because of that. Because of me doing 3 years right there in Fred C. Nellis, man, I gained a lot of respect for their barrios, for their persons, for everything that encompasses the Sur. I respected it because I knew what they were about, homes. See, I'm not one of those ones to disrespect the opposition of the Sureños or the Southsiders or none of that, because I already know what they're about, eh? I seen it in HD, 4K. Science gas right there, now 8K. You know what I mean? 47 assault rifle. It was ugly, right? For us. Now, with our little ragtag group, we were maintaining. But I remember thinking to myself and telling several other homeboys, like, damn, bro, we need some solid soldados, some real ones to come. You know, we need some help. That's it. Straight up. We need a lot of help. Because going to the school area, getting placated and jumped on and snaked on every day, this just ain't the shit. I ain't with this program, right? I'd rather do my time in the caja, but I got to maintain out here with the rest of the gente. But man, there ain't too much gente I want to maintain with, because a lot of these fucking dudes are poop butts. A lot of these dudes wouldn't back my play. I'm all running across the school area to jump in on their shit, right? But they wouldn't do the same thing for me. I already knew, because there was plenty of times where I was getting jumped on. Vatos were like, just getting their wiggle on. You know, I started to become a little disenfranchised with some of the homies. Not with the Nortenos in general, not with the North in the cause, but with some of the homeboys that were there. There were some fucking weaklings, straight up. You know, you want to talk facts, let's talk facts. Then busloads started to roll up. You know, late 93, mid 93, busloads started to roll up, and we finally started to have some real soldados. And a busload rolls up, and one of them has Dreamer from Corcoran, Barrio Perry Heights, Norte, right? Not Bulldog. Dreamer from Barrio Perry Heights, Corcoran, Norteño. Now, let me tell you about Dreamer and my interactions with him. I consider Dreamer one of the most righteous Norteños I had ever met, and one of the most righteous Bulldogs. And I'm going to tell you about the transition into the dog nation, right? When I first met Dreamer, he came on a busload of righteous individuals, and they got off in the chow hall. We didn't even get to meet him. We had heard a bus rolled up. They went to dinner, I think it was, and decided, fuck that. It was him, Danny Boy, Smiley from Hanford, and a couple others. I could be wrong and mistaken. Dreamer, I'm sure, will correct me. That's what he seems to be trying to do nowadays, all of a sudden. But he definitely got, you know, they got off with the Southsiders, and they went back to OH clothes. They had just came from OH. Now, I like the fact that they were coming from an institution and not just a reception, because a lot of these guys that were already locked up in Awacha, Carl Holton, DeWitt, Preston, they had a little mentality. They already knew what it was to function. So they came basically seasoned and ready to go. Whereas the guys coming from NRCC didn't know what was up. Deers in the headlights, you know, that type of shit. So anyways, they pull up. We hear about them. They get off. They bounce, right? Now, this was one of the very first times that the Norteños had took the initiative to really get off like that. And it opened up a lot of eyes. I was like, them's real ones right there, right? And Dreamer, yes, of course, did participate in that, man. I ain't never once said that Vato wasn't about his business. He's definitely about his business and always was. Anyways, he ends up pulling up to my compa, Kennedy. The compa was on. He went to DeWitt. They shipped him back to Nellis. That's what it was, man. Sometimes it was a shipping game. Shipping and shall receive, right? You know what I mean? It was like FedEx, man. Set a hoe down. They'll fucking set you down, take you back, and then set you back down. Anyways, him and Danny Boy and a couple others come back. Danny Boy ends up going to the oil. Now, about this time, you know, the dogs are still rocking with us, but there's whispers. There's a lot of things going on with the city of Fresno. There's a lot of things going on in the California Department of Corrections when it was considering the Fresno Bulldogs, concerning them. And they were basically pulling apart. There was the red wave, of course, and they were pulling apart from the north. They were going their own direction. One way, right? One way. No fucking roundabouts, no U-turns. I said they were going one way. They were getting on down the road. Now, we were hearing this, but we weren't thinking it was going to affect us in the youth authority, because we're all young kids, man. A lot of these guys had Norteños, X4s, 14s, all this blasted all over them. So we figured, man, that the Perro Chatos, the Bulldogs from Fresno, would stay with the program. But they didn't. You know, a Wheelow was written to them. There was a Vato that pulled up LT Dog that was hollering all that Bulldog stuff. And they basically decided that if for no other reason to pull away from the homies. And I remember that was a dark, desolate day. It was pretty upsetting, because I being from the 209 area, the Central Valley, I had a lot of homeboys from Fresno. I respected a lot, still do. And that was a hard pill to swallow, but hey, they got on down the road. Now, what happens is Dreamer's on my compa. Me and Dreamer were like this. Don't let him tell you no different. Don't lie, Dreams. Let's keep it real, homie. Me and Dreamer were like this. He came from OH, so he had a lot of friends that were Perro Chatos, Bulldogs, but you have to understand, Bulldogs were Norteños at that time. I know he likes to tell the stories. Told me that he was leaning more towards the Fresno way. He's always had more love for the dogs than the Norte, but he was claiming Barrio Perry Heights Norte. He was a Norteño. He never said nothing about being a Bulldog. That never came out of his mouth one time. Not once, right? Not until later on. So what happens is there's starting to become a little bit of friction on the compa with the Southsiders. There was one Southsider in particular named Lazy from, I believe it was from El Monte Flores, who didn't like us. You know, he didn't care for the Norteños, and he wanted to show it every day. He had a big old sword blasted on his arm, I remember. So he used to make sure he would be busting eyes and doing all that. And we were feeling that. We were feeling the drama was about to happen. The pot was bubbling. The rice was about to spill over. We were feeling all that. No one's dumb. When there's tension, everyone knows what time it is. The blacks, the wood, there was like 2 woods, and all the Norteños, we're feeling it. Southerners know what it is too. So it's going to pop off at any time. But shit just keeps on building and building and building. We had already been through our riots, one-on-ones, going in cells, just a lot of bullshit. At this time, there was about 15 Norteños on the compa and about 45, 50 Southsiders, and then blacks and others, and white boys, brother, right? And everyone was doing their thing. So anyways, what had happened was it kicked off in the school area. And I've told the story about it kicking off in the school area. We actually kicked it off, me and Spokio. Facts, right? It kicked off in the school area, and Vatos were feeling some type of way. These Southerners were upset. They were highly upset because they felt like we did a movida, right? So it was all about retaliation. Everybody was talking about runbacks. So a lot of us went to the Hoyo from the school area. Dreamer, Cisco de San Fran, and a couple others stood back. They weren't in the school area that day for whatever reason it was. And I guess they got handed a note. And I'm sure Dreamer's told this story before. That somebody got handed a note. He likes to say that he never laid eyes on the note, but that there was a note. Cisco likes to say the same thing. A lot of these guys, everyone's going to deny receiving the fucking note, man. But a note was given to him. Now, this time I'm in the box, the caja, because I got off in the school area, me and Spukio de Salas, who I will be bringing on pretty soon again to clear up a lot of this mess people are talking about me. You know what I mean? He's got a lot to say. You know, people try to get in his earlobes behind the scene, man, and switch him up on me. Little did they know that's my carnal since we were 12 years old. That's my brother right there, man. We rocks like that. The shit will never stop. Anyways, so these Vatos stood back, and the Southsiders approached them because there's only 3, 4, 5 Northerners left. The rest of us are in the Hoyo because we got off in school. And gave them a note, and this note said they had to keep their shirts on, they couldn't use the microwave, all these various fucking rules that were placed on them that we weren't doing that when we were there. When we were D15 deep, we were just doing our own program, our own thing. We had our own little fucking corner, our own little part of the fucking yada that we functioned on. Dreamer knows because he was right there with me, walking that motherfucking track, walking around them handball courts, man, hand in hand, arm in arm. That's right, got knocked, boom, Vato Perry Heights, right? I had a lot of love for Dreamer. I still do. I know he likes to talk a lot of shit about me, but that ain't the type of man I am to disrespect him because he's not worthy of that. If anything, you're going to see how this fucking video ends up. And this is for everybody. So anyways, got a lot of love for this guy, but they stood back, you know, and they get handed the snow. Anyways, when we get they release us all out of the Hoyo like in the evening time after a couple days. That's how it was in Nellis, man. It was back and forth and back. A liaison, right? They'll fucking just release you at any time they want. And it was, we all come back, and the Southerners are like, wow, right? They weren't expecting us to come back like, oh, shit. You know, holy crap. That fucked us up, right? Nah, I said, we're back, doggy dog, right? So when we come back, of course, the homies are like, hey, look at this note. This is what was handed to us. This is what was said. So we're knuckleheads, right? We feel like we did something in the square, so we're going to keep this momentum going. So me and Smiley from Hanford decided that if for no other reason, and we weren't no shot callers, there wasn't none of that, man. You know, Smiley had just come from away. He was pretty laced up. So he starts to get in my earlobe, and I remember he had a deep voice. He said, suave, Al. He said, listen here, brother, right? He's like, these Vatos are tripping, man. That's not how we get down in OHA. No one going to dictate our program. But let's get off. So, of course, the knucklehead I am, I decided that for no other reason, I'll kick it off. You know, ask Dreamer about it. You know, I don't know if he'll remember it that way, but this is the way it was, right? So we all got together, we busted a spread, all cut our heads bald, and decided we were going to get off. I don't know how the Southerners didn't spot us cutting our hair bald and trip off of us, but they were too busy paying attention to what they had going on. Anyways, we ate. I remember we waited a couple of days till canteen came, you know, so we could eat all our sopas because we thought we were going to the Hoyo for the duration. We were trying to catch a body. Let's put it like that. Our whole fucking plan was to catch a body. Our whole plan was to fucking really put it down like the West Side Connect, to really set a standard, to set a foundation, to really plant our flag. We wanted to do that. That's what we had decided to do. I was willing to do that. Dreamer was willing to do that. All of us were willing to do that. I remember at that particular time, Dreamer and the homeboy from Madera, they slept up in the front. Well, that night, one of the Southsiders, Bugsy from Playboys, that's it. The Vato had He was J-Can out. He was doing his thing, and the cop got mad, so they moved him to the front. Pobrecito, they moved him to the front bunk, right? That was like the punishment. If you were catting out a little bit, they would move you to that very front bunk so they'd keep an eye on you. Dreamer, Puerco de Sanjo, and the homeboy Indio from Maderas, they all slept, all three, in the fucking short wall right in the front, too. That vault gets pushed to the front. It was going to be bad for him. Anyways, we said we were going to get off at night. We'll wait till they fucking shut all the lights off, till everyone's down in their bunks. We'll hit them with the sneak attack. Not while they're sleeping, while they're awake, but we'll hit them with the sneak attack. We'll just jump up. We all had pieces. We all had battery packs. I mean, we were weaponed up. We were ironed up, like the movie Shot Caller. Iron up. We were ironed up. I had a little pedazo this big, and decided I was going to do some damage. So, anyways, these vatos are what used to happen is you used to snap your fingers, go to the latrine. Anyways, fucking vatos are going back and forth to the latrine. The vato lazy gets up. I see him. Bam. I run up on him. Bing, 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 bing. And that's it. And everyone starts getting off. Now, of course, Bugsy, man, took the brunt of everything because he was up in front. A lot of Southsiders started running from the back to the front. It was dark. It was chaos. We got off, man. If you ever seen that movie American History X, when the cop did finally hit the light, all of us just turned around like this with sangre all over us and just, we got down on our knees with our hands behind our back. You heard bling, bling, bling. We're dropping pieces. That was the one time I could say in my life that we did have the upper hand. We got off, right? So anyways, we go to the oil. Now, Dreamer at that time, and the homeboy from Madera, they had been, I don't know if they got caught with the piece. They got caught with pieces because they hit that dude pretty viciously, or they seen him for this. Either way, they stood back and they got a TAF program. Now, the TAF program at that time was basically like a mini shoe. You had two lockup units. Nixon, which was located way on the other side of the institution out in the cuts. A lot of Southerners went there. You hear hard. I don't think Northerners even went there, maybe one or two. And it was right next door to the fucking Chomo fucking building. They were 270 designs. That was what was it called? You had fucking Nixon and Carter. Carter's what it was, right? Those that have been to Nellis know I know what I'm talking about. Anyways, TAF was more fucking, it was, the oil was shaped like an L. One side was AC side. That was the box, you know, the administrative segregation, the oil. The other side was a TAF program, like a mini shoe. Anyways, they placed Dreamer and the homeboy Indio over there with a lot of Bulldogs. Now, there had been a lot of Bulldogs that got involved in riots and whatever they got involved in. And they were doing TAP programs. Joy Boy, the Fresno, K9, Danny Boy, Bubba, Shorty. They just got caught for a stabbing that had happened, I guess, in the shower with the vato named Dopey. So they were facing time, man. They were looking at charges and whatever the case may be, they were over there. So Dreamer got placed over there. So I'm back on Kennedy. We get out the oil, man. You know, shits is what it is. We talked it out, right? Now we're using the microwave. Let's just say that. Everything was good in the hood. I remember there was whispers and facts that Kennedy was a leva compa because the retaliation never happened. You know, they got off in the square area. Motherfuckers was trying to snipe us, but the people that were on Kennedy didn't do nothing. And that's just the way it fucking was and is, man. I ain't going to sugarcoat or add no preservatives. Spencer. Now, Dreamer's back there with a whole bunch of Bulldogs. So about that time, the Bulldogs had just started to fall off. We got the Wheeler. They're no longer part of us. It is what it is. But we weren't really going at it like that, like tripping on each other, like rushing, whatever. It wasn't like that, man. It was more so like shock. Everybody didn't know what to do. Some Bulldogs that were still on the little linea still were Nortenos. There was vatos like Weasel and Dealer and vatos that sometimes they were, sometimes they weren't. It was just all mixed up. It's always been like that. Wherever the Bulldogs went, sometimes they went to an institution, they were cool with the Southerners. Sometimes they were cool with the Northerners. Some of them didn't want to give up the Northeast. Some of them were sneak attacking. Some would get off. It was a little bit of everything. It was chaos, right, when it came to the Bulldogs and Northeast split. For us in the Youth Authority, every institution rocked differently. Anyways, most of them would get there, get off the bus, get off on whoever they got off on, and go to the TAF program and stay there with their homeboys. It wasn't a PC place. They weren't PC'd up in there. That's just where they fucking ended up. Just how it was, right? Anyways, we're continuing to do our thing on the linea, go to school, and whatever it was. And I start hearing Dreamer's voice. You could hear from the compa was on Kennedy across, you can hear Dreamer's voice and him talking, and you can hear him say dog and wolf and not woofing, but fucking barking. They're getting their bow wow wow yippee yo yippee what on, right? So homeboys are coming from the oil and they're getting at us and they're like, hey, did you hear that Dreamer from Corcoran? He's not a homeboy no more. He says he's a Bulldog now. So he switched up. You know, so I remember going to the oil one time, hollering at him, Dreams, me and the homeboy Smilon, and we could holler, man, to Dreamer, and he was like, hey, I'm a Bulldog, this Bulldogs, Corcoran Bulldogs, or whatever, and I was like, wow, right? he turned his back on us like that. He let the Norte go. Now, these are facts, right? And whatever his reasoning was, he liked the Bulldogs more, or, you know, he wanted to participate that way. It doesn't matter. The fact remains is he went in as a Norteño, he came out as a Bulldog. You know, he wasn't a Bulldog that was a Norteño. He was a fucking Norteño from Corcoran and then switched up and became a Bulldog from Corcoran. It's just facts, right? Now, he was doing his thing, man. Wasn't no one really tripping on him. And we already knew that Dreamer was about the business. You know, we lost a good soldier, a good soldado, a good homie, a friend is what I considered him. So anyways, time moves on. I get moved to Madison, compa, which is right across the street from Kennedy. And I forgot all about these perro chatos that were in Taft. I'm no longer able to communicate or hear them. I'm in a different compa now. It is what it is. By this time, I don't give a fuck, right? And a Bulldog pulls up. And his name was Spooks. Spooks de Eastside Fresno. And we hadn't had no Bulldogs on this compa prior. We were just trying to get it together between North and South. We were getting off all the time, and it just was what it was. Anyways, when he gets there, the homies, we have a junta, like, hey, what are we going to do about this guy? Are we going to allow him to exist right here, or are we going to get off on him? Now, at the same time we're having a junta, the Southerners were having a junta too, the Southsiders, and they were trying to figure out, you know, if he was going to fuck with us, function with us, or they were going to take all his fucking canteen and packages, right? They were on that level. So I remember he was young, not scared, but young, you know, kind of just looking around. And I remember going up to him and I'm like, hey, bro, it's all good. You got to understand, I have a lot, still do to this day, have a lot of love in my heart for the perro chatos, the Bulldogs. I functioned with them for a lot of years. They were the homies. So I was like, hey, it's all good, bro. I said, hey, a lot of your homeboys, they're over there in fucking, in Taft and shit. You know, I started giving the rundown where the perros were, how it was there. I said, we ain't even tripping on you, bro. You know, hey, you can kick it with us, kind of just like blend in, homes, or you can get off and go with your homeboys. He was like, nah, I just want to do my time. I'm just trying to kick it, right? Of course, the Southsiders were in like that. They were like doing the culebra, the Grinch. They were trying to take his packages and everything. They approached him a couple different times. And of course, they started to see him function with us and fuck with us. And it was all good. He was there for a few months, man. Everything was going fine and dandy. When he started to receive wheelots from his homeboys, when they found out he was there, trying to pull him into the mix, come over here, homie, come over here. But he didn't want to go. He was young. He just wanted to chill. Or at least that's the role he was playing. Anyways, one day we're there and the door opens. Okay? And Dreamer walks in. Now, Dreamer had never been back in the general population since turning Bulldog. You have to understand, the last time I seen Dreamer was that night of the fucking, when we got off with the Southsiders and Kennedy Compa. So it'd been a year, at least over a year, right? And I guess he was getting short to the gate. So anyways, they released him out of the oil because he had a couple weeks, a month or whatever left, maybe to do his parole transition papers or whatever the fuck they do, right? Anyways, he comes. And I remember seeing him and kind of looking at him, and he looks different, you know? Now when he went in, he had the curly hair, or, you know, I know him well. I know Dreamer real well, right? He came out, now hair is slicked back, baggy shirts, pants, creased up. You know, he came out with a different mentality. He came out with a more gangster mentality where, you know, fuck everyone and everything. And prior to that, that wasn't Dreamer. Dreamer would get off, he would fight, he would get down, he would do all this shit. But he was kickback. I remember, man, he was more just relaxed, you know? Anyways, he comes with that mentality, so I get at him. You know, I was one of those people, I'm not going to fucking lay back. I'm going to get at you. So I was like, what's up, Dreamer? He was like, what's up? I said, so what's your intentions, bro? Right? You know, because I'm not tripping off the other perro, but this one right here is seasoned. He's been around. He knows what's up. He was there during the breakoff. He was there. He was a homie. You know, I know him. A lot of the other homeboys that were there didn't know him like that, like I did, right? Because I was on the compa with him. So I said, well, what it is, bro? And I remember getting at him. He's like, I ain't tripping, bro. I'm getting out. I'm just trying to do my thing, chill with my dog right here, lace him up, and that's it. I said, all right, cool. We had a junta, and I told the homeboy Spanky from Gilas and a couple other fools, I was like, hey, we might have to make a move on this guy. This guy's dangerous, bro. This guy likes metal. This guy likes to put metal in people. This guy's with it. Of course, nah. He doesn't pose a threat. He doesn't pose a threat. We're homies, man. Them fools don't pose a threat. Shit. You know what I mean? I'm looking at the scar right now. The threat was real. So, about a week passes. I see Southerners getting at him. I'm keeping my eyes on him. But I let my guard down, man. I got caught lacking, right? I fucked around and didn't pay attention. So all the Norteños on that compa were on the short wall except for myself. I was on the tall wall. And that didn't mean nothing different. It's just where they assigned me. Bunks. We're all in the same area. They just would say short wall down and then tall wall down when it was fucking program was in and it was time to go down to your bunk. So I remember we're all in the day room program. It's evening time. It's almost 7 or 8 o'clock. They're going to shut the program down, right? Usually when they shut the program down, you take off your clothes, you put them in your locker. You know what I mean? You're in your chanclas, socks, t-shirt, boxers. You break it down, right? It's called breaking it down to go to sleep. So anyways, everything's been smooth on this compa. Ain't no one fucking fearing nobody. Everything's good in the hood. If you got issues, get off where you're mad at. But for the most part, everyone was programming, doing their thing. We didn't want to fuck the program up. We had a lot going on there. So anyways, little did I know Dreamer was plotting, okay? And he told me out of his own mouth. He was plotting. He swears up and down it wasn't to get me. He swears up and down that he had no ill will towards me. It was just to get off with the Nortenos, period, so that they could fucking do their movida and get on to Taft or just get the fuck out of there. They were going to get off on the homies, period. And I've asked him. Remember, he used to come on my lives. He used to send me money. He used to fucking talk to me. Everything was all good. Then all of a sudden, everything switched up. And now he hates me and I'm a rat and this and that. And I'm going to get to that, man. So now they say shore wall down. All the Nortenos go down. Now it's just me, man. I remember young Deg from PJ Watts standing behind me. And we're conversating. He keeps on telling me in my ear, the Bulldogs are in effect. The Bulldogs are in effect. And I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I'm saying your breath is in effect. Motherfucker, you smell, right? I didn't know that these two Bulldogs were behind me. Now Spooks all of a sudden wants to be gangbanging. You know, he's not scared of his packages getting taken anymore. Now he's with the program, right? And I don't know how his life turned out, if he turned out to be a righteous dude. I'm just keeping it real, man. Stating facts, you know. They was taking packages in there, bro. You know what I mean? Let's keep your facts. Anyways, right? So the dude was right there. They're behind me. A couple guys behind me. I didn't even know. I guess I'm their target, or maybe they're waiting till we take it down and they're just going to bum rush everyone. You know, according to Dreamer, that's what the deal was. They were going to get off on everyone. I think I was the target. I think I was the easiest target. I'm a small, skinny dude, unaware, right? It is what it is. I wasn't no fucking slouch, though. Put it like that. And I was quick to get off, man. And Dreamer won't deny that. He can call me all the rats and all the punks in the world, but he knows what it was, man. I was right there in position to handle my business, and I didn't have to jump in, and I did. So anyways, the door opens right when they're going to say tall wall, take it down, tall wall, take it down. The door opens and Chino from Sanjo comes in. Now, he had been on a different compa, and there had been a lot of he said, she said about Chino, that he quit banging, that he was banging, that he wasn't. I don't know. I just recognized him. I was happy that another homie had got there. We'll talk to him the next day, right? We thought. So anyways, as he walks in, he gets right behind me. He has his property in a clear bag, and he has his fucking mattress. He had just came out of the way. I said, where are you coming from? He said, the oil, they shot me over here from Hayes. I guess he was on Hayes, compa. I'm like, all right, cool. You know, he had went to the oil. He got off right there, and then bam. So as soon as they say take it down, we start to take it down. Now, I've always, when I told the story, I told it differently because I've seen it in the day room because that's where it ultimately ended up for me. But now that I remember after Dreamer telling it, he did tell the facts, right? As we start to walk down the locker area, so you walk down, there's the showers straight, latrines to the right, to the left is all the lockers. As everybody's bending down to take off their clothes and get ready, all of a sudden I start hearing sounds. Sounds like someone's getting booked. Boom, 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 boom. And I turn and I see Dreamer at the time, and he's hitting the homeboy Chino, right? Allegedly. And I rushed him immediately. No questions asked. My first thought was get off, right? The Bulldogs are moving on the homies. I knew what time it was. I expected it coming from Dreamer. He was about that action. So I rushed him. I hit him a couple times. He takes off running to the back of the dorm, right? To go get off on some other people, right? Because now people are jumping up. What the fuck's going on? And Spooks, who had a battery pack, allegedly, takes off running to the day room. So I'm chasing his ass, trying to give him the business. He runs all the way to the corner and tries to hide behind the Southsiders. Now, you got to understand, like I'm saying, there was a long line of people coming. When the shit kicked off, some people were still in the day room. Their line hadn't broke off yet. So a lot of people are down. Negative from Pomona 12th Street was right there. There were several others, right? I'm trying to get in Spook's ass. I'm trying to give him the motherfucking business with the chair. That vault is fucking in the corner, fucking hiding. He's throwing the battery pack at me, right? Facts. Placas come in. They hit the pin. Placas come in. And now I don't know what Dreamer's doing in the back there. You got to understand, I ran to the day room to get off to chase this motherfucker that ran. Yeah, he ran from me, right? Dreamer was doing his thug thizzle. He's doing his thing with the homies and whoever else got hit, right? I didn't know at this time I had been hit. I didn't know I got hit right here in my arm. I didn't know the adrenaline's pumping. I'm just trying to beat someone up. Next thing you know, placas are coming in. They're macing everyone, slamming people on the ground. And a big-ass cop, a GS, picks me up. That's what we called him back then. He slams me on my fucking head bone, right? And now I'm on the ground screaming to him, you fucking piece of shit. You broke cracked my head open because I see blood. And he's like, calm down, you've been stabbed, right? And then I look at my arm and I realize through the mace, my shit's gushing. Damn, this motherfucker's got me. I don't know who got me. If it was Dreamer that got me, if it was Spooks that got me, I didn't know at this time, right? I just know these fucking battle choppers got me. Fucking Bulldogs. I was pissed. A lot of shit was going through my mind. Again, I'm young, right? My adrenaline's pumping. So anyways, I'm maced up. They handcuff me and they take me outside. The cop has his hand around a towel and he's applying pressure to my arm as I'm handcuffed with my hands forward. All of a sudden, I see them bringing Dreamer out. Now, it was a hot day, I remember. And I'm in front of the fucking building and I'm waiting. They're airing my eyes out so this mace can go in. And there's a van right there that's going to take me to the infirmary to stitch me up. And whatever else, they're trying to deal with whatever else is happening. Again, like I said, I didn't see what happened back there. I was too busy with what was going on with me. They had already put Spooks in the fucking van and now they're bringing Dreamer out. And as soon as the Dreamer looks to the right and he sees me, he starts saying, fucking Buster, we got you. I did that. I got you, right? And fuck your dead homies and this and that. I said, that's right, you got me. But basically, like, you got it. That's you. You did that. But I'm going to get my run backs, right? So that was that. So that's the little statement that everyone's talking about that you see where I said, yeah, that's right, you did get me. You know what I mean? You got me. That's cool, but I'm going to get you back. We're woofing back and forth. We're arguing. You know, if he wouldn't have said shit to me, I'd have just been like, all right, bitch, right? But he didn't, he's the one that instigated it. Fuck your dead homies, this and that. He's a high power shit. Talking all that shit, right? And it was what it was. And I couldn't believe the words that were coming out of his mouth, the disrespect, the Busters, Estrella, all that. You know, coming from a homeboy. He used to be a homeboy. He was only a Bulldog for 4 months. Anyways, bam, he jams in the van. They take me to the fucking, to the infirmary. And they bring in Spanky from Gilroy. He had been hit in the head. He scraped in the head. He had a little scar like that big in the head. And I don't know what they did with Chino. They must have took him immediately because he was gone. And then there's a cop, I guess, got scraped on his leg or his arm. I don't know. Anyways, they get me in there. They stitch me up. Of course, they come to ask questions. And I did give a statement. You know, I did. Miss Binns, she was a youth counselor there. She said, what happened? You know, were you involved? I said, yes. I said, man, I got off with the chair, man. I rushed. I shouldn't have said shit. I should have told her, go fuck yourself. But you got to understand, man, I wasn't thinking correctly. I was young. I was like, fuck it. I don't care. Fuck these dudes. Never once did I say, Dreamer stabbed me. Dreamer's the one who hit me. Nah, that's not what happened, man. I was talking to the homeboy Spanky. I was telling other people, you know, when the homeboys asked, hey, who hit you, man? What happened? I was like, that motherfucker Dreamer, he must have got me, bro. You know what I mean? He had the piece. And then other people made statements to the placas, you know, and now, of course, it's making it look like I did it. But if you really look at the paperwork, that's not me. You know, did I say I was involved in the situation? Yes, I did. Did I say I was trying to get off? Yes, I did, man. Should I have said that? No, I shouldn't have. Does that make me a fucking punk-ass bitch rat? I mean, if that's what you want to believe, right? If that's what you think how my life ended up and I continue that pattern, that's not what happened, man. I was young. I was stupid. I made a motherfucking mistake, and I did that. Now, Dreamer, what I don't understand is when I first started my YouTube shit, he was always coming on my lives, you know, sending me money. It's all good. We talked. He even came on my live. It's on there somewhere, right? And it was all good, you know. I forgot all about that shit, man. I thought, you know, that shit breezed over my head. And I know motherfucking haters decided they don't like me. So for some other reason, they were going to dig deep into the archives 4 years later and find some little statement that I made as a little kid, man. Now, I understand ultimately Dreamer did do some time. He did get charged, man. But I'll tell you right now, man, I never went to testify against that man. They never even asked me to testify against him. I never went on no stand, and he could fucking concur that. Or he can't, you know. He's trying to make it look like, oh, it's my little statement that got him convicted. Now, come on now, bro. Stop it. Stop it, man. You scraped the cop. The cop spoke on you. There was other people that testified against you. I knew. Hey, I never even was in that fucking courtroom. I don't even know what that motherfucker smelled like. You know, if anything, they asked me if I was involved in the situation. I said, yeah. They asked me if I got scraped. I said, yeah. They asked me who did it. I didn't tell them who did it. You know, but hey, it is what it is, man. I'm going to stand on that, and that's what it is. So that hint there right there is the Dreamer incident. Now, I know a lot of you people feel like, oh, rap, but they'll bump 6ix9ine and they'll kick it over here with King Von and do certain things, man, of people that are legitimately righteously telling, right? Did I say too much? Did I make a statement? I did, man. I did, and I shouldn't have. Am I a fucking rata punk bitch, scary motherfucker? I'm not. I'm not that, I promise, right? After that right there, I didn't get dropped level. I didn't get, you would think my career would have ended right there if I was some big ass rat or something. You know what I mean? That was never the case, man. If anything, like I said a little too much and I shouldn't, and I got manipulated into that. I was young. And Blackus was on it, like, asking questions from different angles. And I wasn't a seasoned motherfucker like that. You got to understand, I was a kid. I was 12 years old. Anyways, no excuses. I stand on it. It is what it is, man. If you fuck with me, you do. And if you don't, you don't. A real man will stand by that. Is it right? No. Do I apologize to Dreamer for any type of detrimental thing that I put him in? I do. Dreamer, sincerely, I apologize, bro, because I was a kid. I wasn't thinking straight. I didn't figure how it would fuck your life up, man, or change your life. I didn't figure nothing like that, man. But you also didn't take into account how getting stabbed and that fucked with the kid's mind, how that messed me up, We both, friends, homeboys, Nortenos, did each other dirty. And that's just the way it is, man. Anyways, with that being said, gente, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. There it is there, man. I'm a man about minds. I said I would speak on it, and I did. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive and struggle and struggle and strive, man. And I hope that you enjoyed this story, and it's all real. Now, think what you want about me. But remember, at the end of the day, all these fucking haters, I was involved in situations and handling my business and doing that when they were fucking playing Nintendo or not even around. See, guess what, Holmes? I was part of that. I was part of that life. And I continue to be part of that life for a lot of years. While other motherfuckers fell off in the cop car. We're never part of that life and now we're part of some fucking make-believe life here on YouTube. I don't make believe. That's it. I keep it real. As far as Dreamer goes, whatever agenda he has pushing and talking shit about me, man, hey, teach man their own dreams. I wish you nothing but the best, carnal. Remember, at the end of the day, bro, I never switched up. You did. The gun. Bang, bang.